Good morning, students. Today we will start with session 3 of our lesson, Our Environment. Now, students, in the previous session, we had studied about producers, consumers, decomposers, we studied about food chain, and we studied about food web. In food web, we learned how different food chains unite together to form a network, or what you call it as the food web. Now, in today's session, students, we will study about the ozone layer, its formation and its uses, and at the same time we will study about garbage and the management of garbage. So now, students, let us study about the ozone layer. Now, to study about the ozone layer, I will explain it with the help of this diagram here. Now, this is our earth. Now, students, from your lower standard knowledge, you know that the earth is surrounded by an envelope of gas, and that envelope of gas surrounding the earth is called as the atmosphere. Now, an atmosphere has still got different layers, like that of the troposphere and stratosphere. So this is our earth. This is the atmosphere. You can see the atmosphere is divisible into layers like troposphere. You can see this is the stratosphere. Now, here between this troposphere and stratosphere, can you see a layer? Here, this layer which is there, this is called as the ozone layer. Now, we will study here how the ozone layer is formed and why the ozone layer is important for all the living organisms of the earth. So now, to understand the formation of an ozone layer, let's see here in the next part. Okay. Now, students, as far as ozone is concerned, ozone is a chemical, and it is a chemical which is made up of 3 atoms of oxygen. It is formed by 3 atoms of oxygen. Now we will see how this ozone is formed. Now, students, here you can see the molecular oxygen. A molecule of oxygen means 2 atoms of oxygen. Now, this 2 atoms of oxygen, when comes in contact with an ultraviolet rays. Now, what is this ultraviolet rays? Now, when the sun rays is reaching the earth's surface, now in the sunlight there are different type of rays. Like the white rays or the visible rays is the light which you see. Now, there is a part which we do not see, and that radiations are called as the ultraviolet radiations. Now, let me tell you, students, the ultraviolet radiations of the sun are the dangerous part of the sunlight. Now, it should not reach the earth's surface. So, we need to protect our earth from the ultraviolet radiation, or else it will cause harm to all the living organisms on the earth. Now, who is the one who prevents the entry of ultraviolet radiation onto the earth's surface? Now, that is the ozone layer, and here we are studying the ozone layer. Okay, so here, as I told you, you have got 2 molecules. You have got a molecule of oxygen which is formed by 2 atoms of oxygen. Now, that is reacting with the ultraviolet rays. So if it when it reacts with the ultraviolet rays, it breaks down to form 2 atomic oxygen. You can see here 2 atomic oxygen. Now, this atomic oxygen is very reactive, and this atomic oxygen reacts with a molecule of oxygen. Atomic oxygen is 1 oxygen. Molecular oxygen is 2 oxygen. So 1 plus 2, it will result in 3 atoms of oxygen coming together, and when 3 atoms of oxygen come together, it will result in 1 molecule of ozone here. So you can see here 1 molecule of ozone, 1, 2, 3. You can see the 3 atoms coming together. So in this way, in the troposphere, the ozone layer is continuously formed by the breaking of molecular oxygen. By the breaking of molecular oxygen into what? Atomic oxygen. One of the atomic oxygen from that will combine with the molecule of oxygen to form a ozone, which is made up of 3 atoms of oxygen. Okay, so now let's see the reading part. Ozone. Ozone, it is a molecule of three oxygen atoms, that is O3. This is present in stratosphere, that is a layer of our atmosphere. Ozone is formed when UV rays in the upper atmosphere split the oxygen molecules into two atoms of oxygen, O and O. The free oxygen atom, being reactive, combines the molecular oxygen to form ozone, that is O3. Students, I hope you have understood this slide. So now let's go to the next slide. Now, students, in the recent years, what we have seen is that there is thinning of the ozone layer. That is, the thickness of the ozone layer is decreasing. Thinning of the ozone layer. If there is continuous thinning of the ozone layer, there can be a hole or there can be a puncture to our ozone layer. If there is a puncture to our ozone layer, in that case the ultraviolet radiations will enter into the Earth's surface. And if this UV radiation enters into the Earth's surface, it will cause damage to all the living organisms. Okay, now who is responsible for causing harm to this ozone layer? Let me tell you, it is we human beings. Now, we made an artificial compound, a man-made compound, which is called as CFC, chlorofluorocarbon. This chlorofluorocarbon, being a man-made compound, it rises high up into the atmosphere and it combines with the ozone. Now, how it combines with the ozone, now that I will tell you here in this picture. Okay, so let's see now this picture here. Now students, this is your CFC. You can see 1, 2, 2, 3 chlorine, denoted in which color? Blue color. You can see a carbon in the center, that is represented by green color, and you can see F, that is represented by the purple color. So this is your CFC molecule, that is chlorofluorocarbon. It is a man-made compound. Now this being a man-made compound, it is very light and rises high up into the atmosphere. And when it rises high up into the atmosphere, UV radiations brings about the splitting of our CFC. Now how does it bring about the splitting of our CFC? You can see this is a UV radiation. It is striking our chlorofluorocarbon here. Yes, and it is releasing a chlorine atom. So you can see here there is a chlorine atom which is released. Now this chlorine atoms goes and attacks our ozone molecule. So you can see this is my ozone molecule here, and here you can see the chlorine is coming and it is attacking my ozone molecule. Now when chlorine attacks the ozone molecule, what chlorine does is, chlorine takes away one oxygen atom from the ozone. Takes away one oxygen atom from the ozone. So it results in the formation of chlorine monoxide. It results in the formation of chlorine monoxide and a molecular oxygen. Now this chlorine monoxide keeps on moving here and there, and when it comes across an atomic oxygen, it will give its oxygen to the atomic oxygen to form a molecule of oxygen. And what is being let free now? What is free now is nothing but chlorine. So what does this chlorine do now? Now the chlorine will search again for what? It will again search for an ozone molecule. After it searches for an ozone molecule, what it will do? This chlorine is trying to steal one of the oxygen from the ozone to form what? Chlorine monoxide. After it forms a chlorine monoxide, what does it do? It keeps searching for an atomic oxygen. And when it gets an atomic oxygen, it will give its oxygen to that atomic oxygen to form a molecule of oxygen. And again keeps on searching for an ozone. So what is it doing? It is converting ozone into atomic oxygen. and atomic oxygen is cannot prevent the UV radiations from entering into the Earth's surface. What we need is the ozone, and this CFC is converting our ozone into atomic oxygen. Okay, students, I hope you have understood how the ozone molecules are destroyed by the chlorofluorocarbon. Okay, now students, here satellite pictures is there. Here you can see the whole ozone holes over here, and it is increasing on yearly basis. Okay, right now in 2012, this is the reason. So you can see here it is keeping on increasing, and that much UV radiation is entering onto the Earth's surface. Then we will study what are the harmful effects of UV radiations. The thinning of ozone layer by air pollutants is called ozone depletion. For this, some synthetic chemicals are responsible, like chlorofluorocarbon, that is used in refrigerators and air conditioners. And CFC is used in refrigerators and air conditioners as a coolant. Okay. Now we will go to the next slide. Now, what is the function of ozone? Now, to study the function of ozone, students, here you can see this is the Earth. In the Earth, they have written here biosphere. You know, biosphere is that part of the Earth where life exists. Okay. Now, these are the radiations of the sun, and this radiation of the sun is filtered by different layers of the atmosphere. You can see here ozone absorbs a long wavelength of ultraviolet rays, and it is not allowing it to enter into the Earth's atmosphere. You can see here ozone, this is the ozone layer. It absorbs a long wavelength of the ultraviolet rays, and it will not allow it to enter into the Earth's atmosphere. Okay. Functions of ozone. Ozone protects us from ultraviolet radiation, as it does not allow ultraviolet rays to enter the Earth's atmosphere. If it enters the Earth's atmosphere, it may harm us in many ways, which we will discuss in the further slides. Okay. Now students, often there are reports about the ozone depletion. Okay. Now when you say ozone, in many of the reports, you might have read about a good ozone and bad ozone. Now let me tell you, ozone, yes, good ozone and bad ozone. Ozone is required at the higher level of the atmosphere. Ozone is required to protect us from UV radiation. But at the lower layer of the atmosphere, let me tell you students, ozone is a pollutant. Ozone is not required in the lower layer of the atmosphere. At that time, it becomes a pollutant. It is only good when it is present at the higher level of the atmosphere. Okay, so that ozone, which is there at the lower layer of the atmosphere, is itself a pollutant and is called as a bad ozone. Yeah. Now, harmful effects of ozone. Okay, ozone depletion. Harmful effects of ozone depletion. Yes. So, what might life be like without ozone layer? Without ozone layer, UV radiations will penetrate into the Earth's surface. It will cause harm to plants, animals, as well as human beings. Here we are studying about human beings. Students, you can see it causes, here you can see it causes skin cancer. Here the name of the skin cancer has been given, that is melanoma and non-melanoma. These are the two types of skin cancer. Premature aging of the skin and other problems. It causes harm to the eyes here, cataracts and other eye damage. Immune system suppressed. Immune system is our ability to fight against the diseases, is called as our immune system. Ozone, if the UV radiations enter into the Earth's surface, it suppresses our immune system. That is, our ability to fight against diseases will decrease. Okay. Now these are the harms which are caused by ozone to the skin. You can see here. Now, harmful effects of ozone depletion. Now, if the ozone depletes, that is thinning of ozone is there, a puncture of the ozone layer, in that case they may raise the temperature of the earth, and the temperature of the earth when it rises, then that is what is called as a global warming. It may cause several skin disorders, that is including skin cancer. It may cause eye disorders and many several other diseases. Now let's study about the Montreal Protocol. Now, what is the Montreal Protocol? Montreal Protocol is an agreement made by industrialized nation to freeze means to stop, to reduce the production of CFC and make use of some alternative source. Now, this Montreal Protocol was done in 1987. By the UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. Now, by the Montreal Protocol, or many of the industrialized nations have reduced the use of CFC, even has stopped the use of CFC, and we have found out an alternative to CFC as a coolant, and that is HFC. HFC stands for hydrofluorocarbon. Now students, you can see in case of hydrofluorocarbon, hydrogen, fluorine and carbon. So and what is absent here? Chlorine is absent. It was the chlorine which was attacking our ozone and stealing away one of the oxygen to form chlorine monoxide. So in hydrofluorocarbon, we don't have the chlorine part. Okay. Montreal Protocol agreement established to protect the ozone layer by reducing the production and consumption of harmful substances, that is the CFCs. It entered into force in 1989. It was made in 1987, but it entered into force in 1989, and if all countries commit its goals, the ozone layer will be completely regenerated by 2050. So let's all hope for the best and try to minimize, reduce or stop the use of chlorofluorocarbon and protect our earth from the harmful UV radiations by saving our ozone layer. Many of them say that is an ozone umbrella. It is an umbrella which is protecting us from the UV radiations. So students, we have studied about the ozone layers, how useful the ozone layer is, and what will be the harmful effects caused if there is a puncture or a hole in the ozone layers. Students, the next topic we will study about garbage and its management. Now regarding the garbage. Now you can see this is a garbage. It is literally a waste, domestic waste, which includes biodegradable and non-biodegradable. When I say domestic waste, vegetable peels, fruit peels, leftover food, but at the same time there can be non-biodegradable waste like that of bottles, cans, tins, and all those will be there. Okay, so all this collectively you call it as garbage, and this garbage needs to be disposed properly. If garbage is not disposed properly, it will again result in pollution and spread of diseases. Garbage. It is a refuse of fruits, vegetables and food along with other domestic waste. These are basically considered as waste which cannot be as such reused, but we have to manage it. Okay, and there are certain methods to dispose the waste in a right way. So we will study which is the right way to dispose this waste. So here this is the management of the garbage. Here students, here this is a picture of a landfill. Landfill is usually there in cities. The landfills are there in the low-lying areas where a pit is dug and all the waste is dumped inside that pit and it is covered with the soil. Okay, next picture which you are seeing is that of a compost, which is usually carried out in the villages. All the vegetables and all the domestic waste, biodegradable domestic kitchen waste is collected and it is put into a pit and again covered by soil, watered regularly, and we wait for 1 and 1.5 months for the substance to get degraded so that it will result in the formation of a very good manure. Okay, so this is composting. So let's see this part. Landfills. The disposal of waste by putting it in low-lying areas of ground and covering it with earth is called landfill. Most of the solid waste in urban areas is disposed by this method. Next, preparation of compost. Biodegradable domestic waste such as leftover food, fruit and vegetable peels can be converted into compost by burying it in ground and then using it as a manure later on. Okay. So we studied about landfills and preparation of compost. Now let's study about this now. Students, the picture you are seeing here is that of an incinerator. What is an incinerator? Now incinerator is a place where we will burn the solid waste. Whatever the garbage, solid garbage is there, that is collected and it is burnt at around 1000 degrees, above 1000 degrees Celsius. So here the burning of the waste has been done, but this is not of much use because see, it is causing air pollution. So we cannot as such appreciate incinerators, okay. But the good thing about incinerator is it will reduce the volume of the waste. So this is incineration, that is burning the waste. It is done in an incinerator. Now here students, here this is the production of a gobar gas. This is a gobar gas plant. Now often in the villages we will see the animal waste like that of the cow dung and the horse dung, which can be collected along with the domestic waste, can be mixed and put into a gobar gas plant where it will generate the gobar gas, that is a biogas, that is methane. That gobar gas can be used to generate electricity, can be used for lighting the particular village. At the same time, it can be used in cooking. Now, after the gobar gas is prepared, it leaves a semi-solid waste which is called as a sludge, and the sludge is often used as a fertilizer. Okay. Yes. Burning at high temperature. Incineration. The burning of substances at high temperature of more than 1000 degrees Celsius to form ash is called incineration. Incineration reduces the volume of waste. Production of biogas and manure. Animal waste and biodegradable domestic waste can be used in the preparation of biogas, which is called as a gobar gas. Gobar gas can be used for cooking and lighting. The sludge, that is, as I told you, is the semi-solid leftover part of the gobar gas, can be used as a fertilizer. So in garbage management, we have studied about landfills, we have studied about compost preparation, we have studied about incineration and production of biogas. Now the last but not the least, that is recycling. Okay, here you use the 3R mantras: reduce, reuse and recycle. Okay, now recycling. Now recycling of the waste, especially the paper and plastic. Okay, recycling the solid waste like plastic, paper and metals etc. can be recycled. For example, waste paper is sent to the paper mill where it is processed again to form new paper once again. The same thing can be done with plastic. The plastic can be again remolded to form different items. So students, this marks the end of the today's session. Now let's look into the assignment part. Assignment: what is ozone depletion? The thinning of the ozone layer is called as the ozone depletion. What are the causes of ozone depletion? That is the use of CFC. You will see that UV ultraviolet radiation striking the chlorofluorocarbon. One atom of chlorine release attacks the ozone, takes away one oxygen, forms a chlorine monoxide. Chlorine monoxide searches for, keep on searching for a oxygen atom, combines with that oxygen atom to form a molecule of oxygen. So it is converting our O3 into O2. Okay, and the chlorine is let free. And again, since the chlorine is free, again and again what it will do? It will again attack our ozone. So this causes the depletion of our ozone layer. What are the ill effects of the ozone depletion that we have already seen? Skin cancer, cataract, global warming. Yeah. what are the different methods in garbage management? Landfill, okay, compost, incineration, then gobar gas preparation, and the last recycling. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Thank you.